Continue on. First topic of today is the layer command. And as usual, I got some YouTube videos, Burgener 6a and Burgener 6b, after the tinyurl.com / first thing we want to do is talk about creating layers. Let's click the Start Drawing. This will start a brand new blank drawing. I believe it's rigged to use the ACAD.dwt template. As always, it insists on turning on the display grid, which I got no use for. Used to teach it, but see no use for it. And also this annotation symbol here. Haven't quite figured if annotation properties are used in industry or not. I've taught them a couple of times out of a textbook, but haven't incorporated it into this curriculum yet. Anyway, check it out. Everything we're drawing on, whether we draw circles or lines or, and we can trim circles into arcs and everything. Everything is drawn on layer 0. This drop-down list at the top of the Layers panel tells you which layer you're drawing on. Now you can think of layers like being a stack of sheets of glass, transparency sheets. And proper etiquette or protocol, whatever, in CAD operation is that every category of stuff needs to be on a unique layer. Your electrical on electrical, your floor covering on floor covering, piping, foundation, on and on. And as you draw on your CAD in your system, it's wise to click on this drop down and change to the layer that you want the stuff to be on. Drop down and pick electrical or foundation or whatever, then draw on it. Most likely, people are just like me and draw everything on layer 0 and then go move it to the proper layer. By the way, there's a property palette here. I think some of you have stumbled on this already. And this early in your training, everything in the properties panel should say by layer, by layer, by layer. You can assign color red to any layer or to any object regardless of the settings of the layer. But it's very, very wise to keep everything by layer, by layer, by layer. That way, all you do is change the color setting of the layer and your electrical will turn into faint dotted cyan color, say, or big, bold, fat red, depending on which contractor you want to plot the drawings for. You can change the properties of the layer by just a few clicks. So again, everything should be controlled by layer. And you should never be selecting a specific color. If you're doing that, you might as well be using PowerPoint, like dipping your paintbrush into different colors. Anyway, let's get back to making layers. The main control of everything to do with layers is this layer property manager. Type in, I think, LA enter will invoke it. Let's click layer properties, and I'll get back to the drop-down list and the shortcuts a little later, but let's learn the layer property. And click on layer property. As I mentioned, the brand new Start from Scratch drawing has just the 0 layer on it. I think in intermediate, well, I can't remember. In intermediate, if not sooner, we get into repetitive symbols called blocks. And whether the lines, arcs, and circles that make up the repetitive symbol are on layer 0 or not has to do with the way they perform. We'll cover that later, but the punchline is you cannot delete nor rename the layer 0, and that's because it's got the special properties for the sake of these repetitive symbols. Anyway, creating layers, just keep clicking on this new layer icon. Looks like a stack of transparencies with the typical Microsoft starburst indicating new. You can just machine gun and you know, AutoCAD doesn't know any better. It'll take the next available number and just number them by, you know, serial number. As you create them, you can give it a, well, let me stick with our drawing here. Let's see, bathtub. Or you can rename the layers Lator. Much like Microsoft File Manager, you can click on it and right-click and go to rename, just like renaming a file. And then it kind of blues out the text and blacks out the domain or the range of the text block. And you can type away. Another layer we'll work with today is chairs. Another way, just like Microsoft File Manager, you can click on a layer twice with a second between clicks. Click, click, and that's a shortcut to the rename capability. Instead of a single click and then right click and then rename, you can just click, click, and you get the same place. Walls is another layer. So that's what there is to creating and naming layers. Now, if you double click on a layer, notice that the little green check mark pops up. That means that transparency sheet or sheet of glass or layer is on the top of the stack. And everything from now on till you double click or set a different layer to be the current layer, everything will be drawn on the layer that's got the green check mark. Notice it also gives you the current layer up here in the upper left corner and our drop-down list. What happened? Okay, I got this thing rigged to auto hide. It's kind of more frustrating. Maybe you might like it. Where was it? Anyway, so how do we set the properties of a layer after we've created them, we've renamed them, and we've learned how to create them new? By the way, you can select a layer and click on this green check mark here is another way of setting a layer current. So I'll try the double click method to stay consistent. But check it out. You got all these columns that have properties of the layers. You can turn it on or off. You can freeze or thaw it. Both of these columns make it visible or invisible. I highly recommend leaving everything on and only control visibility by the freeze thaw method. If you click on the sun, it'll turn into a gray snowflake. Notice you cannot freeze what layer you've set to be current. You get this warning message saying, hey, you're doing something that's not allowed. So if you want to freeze the chair layer, then double click on a different layer and then you can freeze the chair layer. But that's one of the differences between the old on-off method and the new freeze thaw method. There's a few other differences. And as I understand it, in the early days of AutoCAD, they realized the on-off way was inefficient and very computational intensive. So instead of rewriting how on-off works, they added a new way to make control visibility, the freeze-thaw method, so that the programmers that took advantage of the weird idiosyncrasies of the on-off method, their programs would still operate. So again, I highly recommend this early in your training, leave everything on. Don't change the yellow. Okay, I just tried to, you can turn the current layer off, but you get a warning here. It's impossible to freeze the current layer, but you can freeze or turn off the current layer. That's one, different in the way on-off operates in freeze-thaw. Where was I? Leave everything with a yellow light bulb on until you get several hours of CAD practice experience. And eventually, you'll find a reason to turn them off and on. But anyway, I'll thaw all the layers. We got layered up. Let's go to chairs. Double click the chairs layer. Now in the handout, I want you to build layers in accordance with this screen capture I copy pasted into AutoCAD. Everybody see my page 5-1 on the left side of my screen? Your mission, and this will be your homework assignment, is to virtually replicate the 2 pages for today. All this color stuff at the top. And by the way, I hope you all have the starter file for today. It's already got the floor plan from last week, or from this past Tuesday, drawn. I think I emailed it to you last night. Anyway, the homework assignment is to virtually. Yes, ma'am. Sally?
I didn't, yeah, Sally, I didn't get the starter file.
All right.
I think it's in the Google Classroom, in the Classroom tab.
Correct.
If you go under week 5, you can find it.
Nuts. I just go to classwork, classroom 5, and either one of these will work. Week 5 starter V4 Bravo is newer. And I can't remember what I did, the difference. Either one of them is good enough. How do you download one of these? Can I drag it right in? Let's see. Nope. All right, can I double click on it? All right.
Oh.
All rats.
Qué hambre.
Well, Sally, does anybody else not have the email that I emailed week 5 starter? Okay, Sally, let's take a bit of a break here. Let's see, go to sent. It'll take me forever to find these. With all this Zoom stuff in the way, it's kind of frustrating. All right, got another student calling. Anyway, I can email it directly to Sally, whatever email you got in front of you. I was going to see what email I sent it to. Let's see, this is a long distance number. I mean, might be a student. Hello, Burgener here. Hello. I think it's a robocall. I get a lot of them instead of a student. Where was I? Well, Sally, you're a pretty bright student. Let me continue on, and we'll get you fixed with the starter file. Or if you saved your exercise from last Tuesday, you can go ahead and proceed with the your file that you generated last Tuesday. So forgive me, but let's continue on, and I think you'll catch up quickly. So we're creating layers. Control visibility by freeze thaw. Leave everything on until you know what it is. Lock and unlock kind of carves it in stone, protects it from being deleted or copied or moved or edited in any way. We'll play with that tonight. The color, self-explanatory. That's the color for the layer assigns everything that lives on it or everything that is moved to it. You know, and the one condition is that all the properties have, all the objects have the color, line weight, line type, all set to by layer. Setting any of these properties, especially color, to a unique color, overrules the control by the layer and is bad practice. Anyway, to change the color, simply click on the swatch sample or the word, and up pops a pretty generous color palette. The chart at the bottom of page 5-2 says that the chairs layer that I've got selected should be color 23, kind of a shade of brown. So we'll go over here and type, what I say, 23? Yeah. Type 23 and hit enter, and there's that shade of brown. You can also pick it out here. Each time you click on something, the number of the color changes. But it's probably easier if you know the color number just to type it in rather than hunt and peck to find it on the matrix.
Excuse me, Paul.
Yes, Stan.
Dan. So I have a thing where I click on the white icon for the colors, but the little color palette doesn't come up. And it's locked in the command, like it knows that it's supposed to be there, but it's not there.
Oh boy.
Almost like it's trying to throw it to another screen that I don't have. I can hit escape and it'll return me to the previous screen where you could add more layers and do different things. But this has been happening to me quite a bit on different program inside of AutoCAD. But while I'm doing my job, there'll be guys trying to help me, and it's like, yeah, click on this, and then this stuff goes into this mode where it looks like it's going to open it, but it doesn't, and it's locked inside of the command until I hit escape. I don't know what it's doing.
Well, I hate to tell you, but that might be a reason to reinstall AutoCAD.
Well, I can't install AutoCAD on the company computer. I guess I could have an IT person do that.
Yeah, you need administrative authority
Yeah.
with my Air Force computer, same thing. While it's locked up, does the command line say type a command, Daniel?
Yeah, but you can't put the cursor down in the area to type a command. And if you try to key something, nothing happens.
Okay, there is a way to reset the profile. I got a video on that. I think it's at the bottom of the list of videos.
Under the classroom stuff?
It should have been on the first day handout. I can't remember if how do I get there? Send me an email and I'll reply back with the list of videos.
Okay.
Resetting the profile kind of changes little tweaks that the operator has made.
Yep.
I don't recall hearing this issue before, but maybe you accidentally or somebody sharing your computer tweaked, and by resetting it to the as shipped out of the factory settings, it might fix it. That's about all I can say without sitting at your computer and playing with it, Dan.
Okay, thanks.
So bear with, I hope you can do the homework. I don't know, another way might be to use the old-fashioned type-in way. Maybe during a break, remind me to show you the 20-year-old type-in way without the fancy Windows dialog boxes. Maybe you can assign colors to layer by the old antique type-in way.
Okay.
Walls, we'll click on the walls layer to set it. Whoop, no, I'm sorry. We got to click OK to finalize that, hey, we've chosen color 23 for the chairs layer. Select the walls layer, click on the color, the swatch sample here or the word. Up pops the layer. Walls, we want to be, let's go back to page 5-1. Walls are to be blue. Blue is one of these, I think you call them basic colors. So you can make a beeline straight to the basic color blue. These colors all can be identified by their number or their name. Let's click on the blue square. That happens to be the color number 5. You can bring it up by typing the word blue as well as 5, or clicking on the sample in the basic, however many there are, 7 or 8 colors, 9. So back before monitors got really, really good color, CAD operators would only work with these. And I still like to use these for projectors, though they're getting pretty high tech now. Click OK after selecting blue for the selected layer walls. So far, so good. Now, wouldn't you think, do I teach line type? No, line type, this column here, line type, is a little bit complicated. That comes a week or 2 later from now. So hold off on line type. That's the dash, the phantom, the center, the hidden, fence, gas. There's I don't know, maybe 100 different line types that come with AutoCAD, and there's a way you can create your own line types. Anyway, this early in your training, I want you to play with the line weight. The line weight column. Think of the line weight as the fatness of the lines. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever, line weight cannot be used to represent the gauge of a wire or the diameter of a tube. It only can be used for emphasis. You want the important stuff to be a heavy line weight, and you want the unimportant stuff to be a light line weight or even 0 line weight. And the reason for this, no matter what scale you plot out, lines of a given line weight will be the exact same from plot to plot to plot. If it was really a 1/4 inch tubing wire or gauge tube, as you zoom in on enlarge and make, as close up as you print out, the tube would be bigger and bigger on the paper. Line weights print out the same size, whether you're plotting the entire carrier on a sheet of notebook paper or just a close-up of the poke valve, whatever's connected to the gauge tubing. So again, line weight is only good for emphasis. Important stuff is heavy, or wide, I should say, and unimportant stuff is low or 0. To change the line weight, just click on the sample or the word default. Default happens to be 0.25 millimeter, but click on default and assign, let's see, what's the weight of the layers? My handout here says 0.5 millimeters. The walls should be. Walls is a pretty important topic. If you're given the drawing to a contractor to build your house. So scroll down and assign 0.5 millimeter. You know, it's a distance unit, not a weight. But this is the line weight. Select 0.5 millimeter for this is important stuff. I think, yeah, 0.5 is the widest stuff on here. Your system administrator might say use 0.8 for the
Tom.
widest.
Excuse me, Paul, it's Dan.
Yes, sir.
Well, my system's set up for inches. Does that mean you want me to change the units to millimeters to be able to get that 0.5 millimeter?
Give me a second. I'll show you how to change it. I don't think we're talking about the same place you control inches and millimeters. You typed units enter and went that way. How did you?
It was probably dim style originally when I switched it, or maybe this is the default for the company because we don't draw in millimeters, we draw in inches.
Okay, but I don't know. When I was at the shipyard, all the drafters had 0.5 millimeter lead pencils.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, but the computer's set up for inches.
Okay. All right. Let me show you how to fix that. We'll set it at 0.5. Click OK. Check it out. There's a status bar button that I've had you leave turned off up until this class, this week. The line weights will not show unless that status bar button is turned on. Yep, we got a hello there. We've been waiting for you. Alexandria is joining us. Okay, welcome aboard, Alexandria. You owe me some homeworks. Sorry. Where was I? I can work with you offline, Alexandria, but you've missed a few classes. But anyway, getting back, by turning the visibility goes simply by turning the line weight status bar button on or off. If it's off, everything is like 1 pixel wide. And if it's on, it's a few pixels wide, depending if you've got the layer set to a high weight or a low weight. But to answer your question, Dan, to just change it to inches, right-click on the line weight status bar button. Click on line weight settings, and you can toggle it from millimeter to inches. So toggling it over to inches, you get decimals of an inch. I assume they're comparable to the millimeters. You know, the range of fatness is comparable. But if the shipyard, you assign 0.21 unit, I think 0.05 was a common fatness back, decades ago for title block lines. So
quick question, Paul. So for the homework, you want us to do it in millimeters. Is that a correct statement?
Yes.
Okay.
So we all stay together.
Yep, I got it. Thank you.
While we're in this setting, by the way, every monitor is a little, well, I shouldn't say every monitor. A cheap monitor has got low resolution. I forget the pixel width and height. But might have a few hundred wide and a couple hundred high. High dollar monitor has got, I don't know, 2,000 wide and something. Punchline is, because of the difference in monitors, you can control the display on your screen by this adjustment here, adjust display scale. Again, line weights are not part of your data. Nobody's going to measure a line that's fat because of line weight. to determine the wire gauge, the sheet metal thickness, or the tubing diameter. So just, you know, as you move from one computer to another, if a certain line weight is incredibly fat on the cheap monitor you got, well, then move this display scale lower so it looks like what you're used to. So this scale allows you to compensate between high quality and garbage monitors with high or low resolution. Here's the default. In millimeters, it's 0.25 millimeters. You can reset that, but I'd suggest let's all keep it the default. Okay. Click OK and out. Where was I? Let's set the walls layer current, draw on it, and then play with this on-off line weight button. We'll start with the line weight button off. We'll double click on walls. We should be drawing blue lines in continuous line type, 0.5 millimeter wide, or whatever the inch equivalent of that is. We'll move the layer property manager out of the way. I tend to turn it off. To each his own. We'll draw lines on the walls layer, and we'll draw some circles. Now check it out. No matter how far you zoom in, all the lines are just a single pixel. You know, I'm down to, like, my face is like a 1/4 inch from my drawing right now. No matter how far I'm zoomed in or out, all lines are the same on the monitor with the line weight button off. And I think it's safe to say CAD operators prefer to work with razor thin lines like this until it's time to get a plot preview. And what you see on the screen is rarely identical to a plot preview, but it's a little bit closer. Anyway, click on the line weight display button, and you can see the relative difference between the 0.5 millimeter wall line and the 0.25 millimeter zero layer line. Again, you can set that for cheap, high and cheap monitors. You know, set it to the maximum, see how it's swelled up a hair, or set it to the minimum and you can make them all razor thin. You can adjust from one monitor to another with this adjust display scale setting on the line weight status bar button. Okay. Let me open up the starter, week 5 starter drawing, and I apologize, Sally, I understand you haven't gotten it yet, but I can't think of a quick way to get it to you, you know, while the other students are waiting. Let me go, let's see, it's alphabetical, week 5 starter. Okay, week 5 starter version 4 Bravo was done just about a month ago. Thought I had one more recent than that. Okay, here we go. I think that's even newer than the one I put on the what do you call the assignment. Let's stick together, and I'll stick with the one I put on the assignment. Week 5 starter version 4 Bravo. Click OK. Yes, all my starter files are write protected or read only, so I can count on using them from class to class to class and year to year. Click yes. I want to open it read only. Curses for the grid and the annotation stuff. But here's the floor plan as if I completed it Tuesday. your handout for Tuesday, I think has a few more pieces of furniture. But anyway, check it out. There's only layer 0 on here. And here I told you to create layers on a start from scratch drawing. Not a problem. Go back to the one we got. Let's put something on every layer. We'll drop down, we'll make the bathtub layer current with this shortcut. Instead of going the long route, click, by the way, notice they're alphabetical or reverse alphabetical after you go back into them. Bathtub is now white and default line weight, but let's set it current. Select it, click the green, or double click on it. Click OK. Let's draw some junk, drop down, make chairs. We've already got stuff on chairs, this brown stuff. Let's go to walls. We've already got stuff on walls. And I don't see a use for layer 2, but we can just click the starburst to create layer 2 next time. Anyway, if we copy paste all this stuff from our blank drawing number 1 or number 3, we can paste it onto the starter file and save the work of creating those layers again. You with me? With whenever you bring something into a drawing, the background of the stuff comes in. The style, the text style, the dimension style, the layer. What else is there? Table style, which I don't get into. Anyway, to copy paste so we don't have to create the, what was it, chairs, bathtub, and walls layer, right click right in the middle of your spaghetti. Click on clipboard. I always go to copy with base point. I can't remember why. Copy alone, I think, was a little unreliable. But copy with base point is it's click further, but more reliable. So again, in blank space, right click, go to clipboard, copy with base point. Follow the prompt, specify the base point. I'll click just anywhere dead center. Now it says select objects. I'll window everything with a quick and dirty green crossing window and hit enter. Now it's on the Windows clipboard. By the way, there are some, I should say there might be some AutoCAD objects that don't follow the rules of the Windows clipboard. And some of their magic disintegrates in the transfer. That's a viewports, early topic in intermediate class. But my point is, be aware that some of these complicated AutoCAD objects don't perfectly copy paste from drawing to drawing. I believe these are all simple enough. Click on the drawing we just, the week 5 starter, and the right click, clipboard, paste. And those objects we copied with base point to the clipboard will come in with all their layer settings, background writing with them. Okay, I don't know where that was back when I was trying to download the starter file. I'm kind of frustrated getting off the subject here, but when y'all email me your file, I gotta forward the email to my Yahoo account so I can download it to my computer. Haven't figured out how to get an attachment from that that NNPS email ID we've got, on how to get it to my computer. So I always forward to my Yahoo account. And I don't know that I've succeeded in downloading a file from the assignments. The more I think of it, I think I did, but it's kind of a non-intuitive method. Anyway, starting to babble. Click on the, just occurred to me, we did not have anything on the chairs. Oh, okay, that piece of text is on the chairs. Not a line, but a piece of text, that hyperlink thing there. We'll erase it. Anyway, click on the line weight, and you'll see the wall stuff on the walls layer will display heavy or fat in accordance with the layer property for the walls layer. Everybody with me that wants to be? So we've got 3 of the layers created. We still need windows, tables, and doors. Let's go click Windows. Notice whatever layer was selected is going to be the clone for the new layer. Sometimes that's helpful, sometimes it's frustrating. I happen to have walls selected or current, and a new layer has properties identical to it. Windows should be color number 40, which is kind of like a dark shade of yellow. Let's see, Windows should be 0.35 millimeters, or the imperial equivalent. You can double click on Windows, and whether the layer property manager is on or off, we can proceed with drawing some window lines. What else? Doors and tables yet. Click the starburst. The new layer is identical to the layer I had set current, like it or not. We'll rename that, say, doors. Assign the doors layer the color red. That's right there. And while we're changing properties for the doors layer, we'll set the line weight to 0.5 millimeter, or the SAE or imperial or English equivalent. Oh, that's right, 0.5. We'll set it current by double clicking on it and close the layer to get it out of the way. And now we're drawing in red 0.5 millimeter. Yeah. Why does that look a little wider than the blue? I'll pretend I didn't see that. Double check. Did I get that? Doors is 0.5, walls is 0.5. By rules, they should be the exact same number of pixels wide. I've never noticed this before. Maybe for some reason, blue pixels aren't as big as red pixels. I don't know. Either way, you can count on it plotting out exactly a ½ millimeter wide. Whether I plot my display right now, or I plot my display right now. Either way, those objects with line weight will plot out in accordance with the layer setting of the objects. Up, tables yet. Doing your homework assignment for you here. That's okay. Tables. Tables layer at the bottom of page 5-1 should be color 92. Type 92 in there instead of hunting pecking around here. And the tables should be the default line weight. Again, whatever layer was current or selected is a clone for new layers, and we'll change it to default, which we happen to know by setting checking the setting of the line weight status bar button is 1/4 of a millimeter, 0.25. Click OK. So I think we got 6 layers plus 0. My handout shows 6 layers plus 0. Let's fix bathtub while we're thinking of it. That should be color number 200. And bathtub is default, so we'll leave it there. I think we've built the layers according to your contract on page 5-1. Double checking here, glancing between the handout and my screen, I see no difference. Except for the current layers. I got doors instead of walls. Any rate, let's say we drew everything on layer 0. Or better yet, let's go to our drawing. Everything was drawn on layer 0. You click on anything and you get a quick and dirty indicator. The drop-down menu tells you what layer it's on. If I click on, say, this red stuff, oh, I got 2 things selected now. So it whited it out. It's too much to ask, to give the display of both at the same time. I'll hit escape, click just the red. So that red is on the doors layer. My point is, you can select an object with no command active. Let me hit escape, because I forgot if I deselected over here. Hit escape, nothing selected. Select all the arcs and lines for this small little end table. Check it out. I drew it on 0, but I can move it to the tables layer. Escape to deselect. Select a chair. Move it from the 0 layer to the chairs layer. Chairs and table are both default line weight. Let's select some walls. And there's a quicker way than selecting. You can, say, hey, AutoCAD. I was about to say you can say AutoCAD, everything that's a line, select, but I forgot the chairs and tables and everything's got lines in it. Anyway, select everything that looks like a wall and move it from the 0 layer to the walls layer. Hit escape to deselect. Select more walls. Change its layer from 0 to walls. Since each of those walls, if you say, hey, line, what is your color? It'll say by layer. Then the setting of the layer controls that property.
Hey, excuse me, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Would it be more efficient to just trap everything, make everything on the wall layer, and then go back and select the little items on the inside that you want to translate to the other layers?
All right. I'm going to undo this, but yeah, you're right. You could select everything, move everything to the walls layer.
There you go.
But since I invested a little bit into other stuff, I'll undo.
Yep. All right, thanks.
Another way of changing the current layer is select one or more objects. If they're all the same type of object, in this case, they're all 3 lines, and I can still do multiple. All bets are off if you get an arc and a line and a circle. I'll hit escape, select A few lines here. Check it out. Right click, go to properties. And this has got the same as that drop down layer list on the layers panel on the home tab on the ribbon. But I can also select walls through the properties. I can literally change where the starting X, Y, Z is for them. Nobody does it this way. Thickness is not the same as line weight. That's a very, very crude 3D feature I doubt anybody uses. Notice color, layer, no color, line type, and line weight are all by layer. You know, proper CAD etiquette. Right now I've got 4 lines selected. If I selected an arc, the list gets shorter because a line doesn't have the same stuff, you know, data types as an arc. I don't know if do we have any circles in here? I don't think so. So again, properties is a good way to change layer from one to another. You can also go match properties on the properties panel. You know, there's a couple of different match properties. Be very careful to read the instructions because depending on what objects you're working with, you know, some ask for the governing object, some asking for the changing object. Anyway, once I got stuff on different layers, like say this table layer here, I can say match properties. The command line says select the source object. I prefer the word governing. That would be the green, any piece of the green table. Only allows you to select one. Now it says select the destination object. Disregard the settings. That can, you know, that controls which properties get changed by the match properties icon. I believe I can keep going. Machine gun all the tables. Hit escape or enter to finish. Same thing, match properties, pick a chair. Now, what would be an easy way to pick all the chairs with minimal number of mouse clicks? What if I first froze the walls layer and the tables layer? And the 0 layer. Nope, no, we got to leave the 0 layer on because the chairs right now are on 0 layer. I'll come up here to this shortcut and freeze everything I move to the walls. And I'll freeze everything I move to the tables. So now I got a clearer shot to get to the chairs. Match properties, select a chair, and machine gun all over the place. Move everything this is what I wanted was looking forward. Interesting. Lost a wall line there. That's okay. Hit enter to finish. Correct, you know, reset the visibility back. Now, what if I want to, the client prefers the dining room table oriented right to left instead of up and down? Well, I could move everything, you know, by selecting it, but check it out. I'm in jeopardy of selecting walls and windows and a door. So this would be a good use to lock, in this case, the walls layer and the zero layer, so that everything that's currently on zero, where we drew it originally, and everything that's on walls will be carved in stone and guarded. We could drop down and padlock the walls. Another shortcut is lock the layer that the selected object is on. And I'll click on anything on the zero layer. Those locked layers fade out. Now I got a clear shot to rotate the entire dining room table. Da, 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 da. Whoops. Not a problem. I'll click move, hit P enter for previously selected enter. And there we got the table moved. Once we got a clear shot by locking the layers of nearby objects. You can unlock, click those layers. Probably just as easy to come in here and click the two padlocks. The windows, would have been smart if we created our Windows symbols on the Windows layer before we copied them into the walls. You know, put all the windows on the right layer. Use match prop to go from window to window. You get the idea. Likewise for the door, this is a piece of the wall. Even though you drew it in the door symbol, I call that a piece of the wall. And the door would be the arc in the other line. Hello, okay, I forgot this was still selected. Hit escape, escape to be sure nothing's selected. And move everything selected to the walls layer. I think we got everything on all layers except bathtub. That's as far as I want to go. You know, either during class or preferably between class, before the next class. Finish it up so that the handout looks like, you know, your week 5 starter looks like page 5-1. And while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to save this file before it breaks my heart. I'll put it in my week 5 folder, create a folder for myself, double click on it, and instead of week 5 starter, I'll name it, say, Paul week 5. It's not an exercise, so that's about all I need to call it. Might put the date, but haven't been asking you the date, put a date yet, so I'll just save it. Now I can do anything to the drawing and just click the save icon. Below the chart, okay, this table here is part of the next page. But I got a couple of little exercises I'd like you to play with. I can't grade you for this, but again, if you freeze the furniture layers, you know, you can plot it out showing just the walls. That should be freeze the furniture, table, bathtub, and chairs. And that would display only the windows and the walls and the doors. You know, then plot it out or email it to your contractor to, you know, build your condo before the stuff comes, the furniture and plumbing fixtures come in. We just did the second one. We locked layers that were in the way or vulnerable to the modify command. Move, copy, rotate, mirror furniture while the other layers are locked. And the third one, again, I don't know if you do it or not, but stretch, yeah, what the heck, stretch the walls a bit. I'll do that much for it. Let's see, I'll click layer properties, Control A is select all. Why did it not select all? There we go. I'm going to lock everything. Click in blank space so that nothing's, you know, we unselect. I'm going to unlock just the walls. Get this out of the way, and we will stretch. Hello, what happened? Yeah, what the heck? I'll include both windows at the bottom. We'll move it all out, say 4 units. Oh, rats. I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you. The difference between Tuesday's lesson and this starter file is that I've scaled up the starter file by a factor of 12. No. Yeah, yes, I scaled it up by a factor of 12, so now an AutoCAD unit represents an inch, more like a real architect would do. Let me undo. I think I undoed back where I was. I probably should have finished changing all the walls to the proper layer. Who's coming aboard? Aaron's with us. Hello, Aaron. Let's see. Let me quickly put everything where it belongs. Select doors. Move them all to the doors layer. I'll select all the walls. Move them to the walls layer. There's a couple of windows. I need to, whoops, hold the shift button and deselect. What was that, lesson 2 or 3? And change, okay, I meant to select just the windows. Hold shift and deselect the walls. think I've got all windows that are still on the 0 layer. We'll move them to the Windows layer. Now, in order, or so that we don't carelessly stretch the furniture, how'd that happen? There we go. I got a few stray walls lines. Where was I? I don't. When I stretch the walls, I don't want to accidentally distort the furniture. So I will lock the chairs and tables so that they don't carelessly get distorted. I'm sorry, I'm clicking freeze instead of lock. Lock the tables, lock the chairs. Now, remembering that an AutoCAD unit is an inch now, say I want to add another 8 feet to the width of the condo, that's 96 inches. So I'll launch stretch, draw a crossing window. Notice I've crossed a couple of pieces of furniture, but because they're on a locked layer, they're immune to this procedure. Hit enter and stretch it 96. Make sure it stays on polar tracking. Enter. Furniture remained where it was. You can unlock everything. Select something, Control A, and unlock. Click any one of the lock icons, and all of them are unlocked. Now it's probably, anyway, I'll see, select, hold shift, deselect that, but somehow didn't get on the walls layer, didn't quite select all the love seat. And I'll move these guys into the master bedroom, or whatever you call it. It's probably just as easy to select these like I did before, but be aware it looks like I got 0 and walls and doors in jeopardy. So I'll lock or freeze. Remember, you can't freeze the current layer. I can lock 0, walls, and doors. And now I got a clear shot to select those couple pieces of furniture and put them back like the handout calls. So stretch it, say 96 units or 8 feet to the right. And the way our units are set now, I don't know if you can type 8 in apostrophe, the architect language for 8 feet. And let's move it down, say, I'll get this guy out of the way. Oops, that's on layer 0, so it's locked. Unlock layer 0. Move this out of the way. Let me stretch it down 48 inches with a cutting line that goes between these windows. Across the wall, around all dining room chairs and out the other end. So unlock everything. Launch the stretch command. I think I can lasso. CP is a shortcut for crossing polygon, but let me try the lasso method. Hello. Try that again. I don't believe I crossed that piece of the window, so I drew my crossing window zigzaggy with the new lasso method. Hit enter and steer. Whoa, what happened down there? All right, let me start from scratch. It's acting like, contrary to what I told you when we learned the stretch command, it's acting like those previous crossing selection sets are still having effect.
Yeah. I think, Paul, if you go from the right to the left with the same lasso style, it will grab the elements you wanted. I think it works similar to the way the track works. You know, right to left, it's whatever's crossing, it's partial, and then the other method from left to right is just everything inside of the track.
All right, I thought it was the other. Actually, with the lasso, it's not so much right to left as it is clockwise or counterclockwise.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, go counterclockwise then.
All right.
Give that a shot. I want to see what happens. No, that's clockwise, isn't it?
You're right. That's interesting. Now it's looking like it doesn't matter which way I go. It develops a crossing window.
You got it. That's it.
48. Easier done than said.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. So this is the way I want you to deliver the page 5-1 material. I won't ping you if you don't erase your garbage or move the handout stuff out of the way. This way I can, I can revise the spelling. You haven't learned that yet. I can put your name there and plot out just the window. Anyway, we want to take a break. I've kept you pretty long here. I got a quarter to 5. You want to reconvene at 5 o'clock?
Yes, please.
Okay, smoke them if you got them. Crack open another beer.
Okay, so while we're on break, can you show me how to reset my computer thing?
All right. I need to get Aaron caught up with NanoCAD for what we've done, which might be difficult. I'll have to admit them. Anyway, yes, Dan, let's save what we got for good measure. Now, resetting the profile is one of the many options. You can type the word options. I think it's on utilities or something on the drop. Anyway, the easiest way to get the options is to place your cursor in the drawing area in blank space and right click.
Yep. Got it.
The far right, second from the right.
Mine's all the way on the right. Profiles.
I never noticed online.
I don't have that.
Why do
Yeah.
I have it, but you don't?
I don't have online, but I have profiles, so that's good. So reset on the lower right.
Correct. Yes, I want to continue.
Yeah.
Be aware, I think it crushes the command area, and I forget what else.
Oh yeah.
You know, some of these things we've set intentionally are going to be undoed. And
Now let's
click
see.
OK.
Go to home and back to layers and layer properties, and I want to change one of these guys to a different color. Yep, that worked. Thank you.
My pleasure. Now, why can't I stretch the command area?
I can't tell you how long I've been working on AutoCAD and not having certain functionality as a result of that. It's been months. Thank
Yeah,
you.
AutoCAD is so, especially in academics, you know, different students use the same computer and each one of them will, hey, I wonder what this does, and then walks away without putting it back again. So resetting helps out.
That was quick. That was like less than a minute.
What just happened? I figured this out.
Now, I'm at a loss on why I can't enlarge the command area. I'll fix that later. But one thing I definitely notice status bar buttons pop back on, whether you want them or not. One thing that I have to keep remembering, it's not so important for y'all, but I always set my computer to continually save in an old format. So the file can easily go to IntelliCAD, NanoCAD, or an older AutoCAD. Every 2 or 3 or 4 releases, AutoCAD redefines the DWG structure. I think it's just to keep the competition guessing. So I need to reset mine to always save as AutoCAD 2013 format. I'll go to Options, File, or Open and Save. Okay, Files, no. Here it is, on Open and Save. I always want the instructor's computer and my office computer to save in an old format so I can easily transfer to older CADs or CAD workalikes that are behind the times. Aaron, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I need to get you caught up.
Yeah, I just got home maybe about 10 or 15 minutes ago.
What do I say? Break ends at 5 o'clock? I've lost track of time. When did we start our 15-minute break?
Quarter of you started. Anyways, I didn't get that email either for that AutoCAD starter file, but I mean, basically you scaled it 12 and you had changed the layers to represent that sheet, right?
Yes, but a sheet, if you mean the handout sheet, yes.
Yeah. It's a good exercise to go through and do it, but I didn't get it either. So you had sent it out to everybody?
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think I sent it only to your Gmail or your NNPS emails. If you're only checking your HII-NNS.
Oh, I check my Gmail every time I go to the class.
NNPS, I haven't been in that email at all.
Okay. All right, some of you for personal email, all I've got is your shipyard email. And to send a file to your shipyard email, I got to rename it to hide it from the the communist hacker firewall. So I change it from .dwg to .hii-dwg.
And it's still an AutoCAD file?
Yep, just rename it back where it was. Eventually the Chinese are going to learn I'm doing that, but I'll be long retired. Anyway, where was I?
You're going to show how to do this stuff in another platform.
Thank you. Let's go to, where are we? NanoCAD. Make sure that the bottom of AutoCAD doesn't confuse. A little review. Let's start a brand new drawing in NanoCAD. Or better yet, I need to open the week 5 starter. Okay, Aaron, I don't think you got week 5 starter either, did you?
I believe you sent me an email about that.
Okay. You may not be able to follow me right now if you don't already have it downloaded and locatable. Let me keep going, Aaron. I'm gonna open up the okay. I think I got bit because of the difference in the AutoCAD releases. I gotta open it up in V4B. I gotta open it up in AutoCAD and save it to 2013. Try one of the older starter files. Okay, there we go. I opened, what was it, version 3. Ah! All right, Aaron, let me work with you between classes. I'm unable to open up my, oh, that says week 8 starter. Try once again. List them by name. Week 5 starter version 4. Last change 9th of June, so that was before I messed up the profile. And it's jamming up again. All right, not a problem. We'll set everything back to 0 layer and I'll copy paste it between the CAD systems. Again, to move stuff from one drawing to another, I think the easiest way, though not always the safest and most reliable, but the easiest way is just to copy paste using Windows Clipboard. So I'll right click, pick Clipboard, click Copy with Base Point. Copy I found is a little unreliable. So I'll click Copy with Base Point. Pick dead center and copy and select everything and hit enter. It just occurred to me that difference in revision might bite me. Now I'm in a new NanoCAD file. I'll right click and paste. comes in. Specify base point, all right, right there. There we go. Well, unfortunately, it didn't come in as entities. It came in as a OLE image. Damn. Shit.
Jesus. Got to keep.
Got some mics turned on that you might not want turned on. All right, Aaron, I don't know what I did differently, but I just opened up an older copy of the starter file. But it's almost 5 o'clock. Now, again, I'll work with you during the weekend or something. The way you create layers in where are we, NanoCAD, I believe that's on Format Layers. All the CAD systems have have something similar to layers. They might be called parts or levels. So Format Layers opens up the main control for everything to do with a layer. Interesting that all the layers came in. Not sure why, but let me, I'm going to try to delete them. Okay, there's something in my drawing that's on the chairs layer, so I can't delete that, but check it out. Again, Aaron, layers are categories. Your electrical goes on an electrical layer, your existing conditions goes on existing conditions. You know, category by category, you build layers, and the settings of the layers control the color, fatness, also known as line weight, and the line type, which we'll get into another week. But all these properties should always, always, always be controlled by the layer properties dialog box that we're looking at. Nothing should be assigned the color red. Everything should be assigned properties by layer, by layer, by layer, so the layer settings control. That's proper CAD etiquette. So getting back, let's create some layers. Like AutoCAD, just keep clicking the starburst. And as they come up, you can name them. Say bathtub. Click a new one, say walls. Click a new one, say tables. And what we're doing is generating this this chart of layers on handout page 5-2. Bathtub should be color 2000. continuous line type, and default line weight. So let's go to bathtub. Color should be 2000. This is an extra step from AutoCAD, not a problem. Click more colors. And click, what did I say? 200, not 2000. So now everything that is currently drawn on bathtub layers, there's nothing right now, or anything that's later moved to the bathtub layers will display and plot out on color 2000 by default as we got it. Tables, that should be color 92. And tables are also default. Walls should be color blue. That's one of the basic colors here. These are, you can identify by color or by name. And the walls are an important topic, so we want them to plot out as if they were sketched with pencil with a 0.5 millimeter mechanical pencil. No matter what scale the plot is, the walls will be as if they were done by a 0.5 millimeter mechanical pencil. You understand, Aaron, how to create layers in NanoCAD?
Why didn't it open this up?
Now that we got most of the layers done, not all, but most of them done, which layer are we going to be drawing on? Well, the layer that we're drawing on is the one that's got the green check mark here. So if we're going to be drawing the walls, double click on, that's in our, yeah, well, okay, it looks like you got to click to the left of the name of the layer. Yeah, double click to the left of the name of the layer. Close, and now everything will be drawn on the walls layer. Let me bring up, I don't know why this my NanoCAD keeps losing the toolbars, and I don't know if that's a common problem or just my computer. So I'm going to be drawing walls layer. By default, NanoCAD has this SW button turned on. Most operators operate with the line weights turned off so that everything is razor thin. But you can see the different line weights when you got SW for show line weight when you got it turned on. No matter how far you zoom in, the number of pixels of width, the pixel count remains the same. And it plots out 0.5 millimeter. You can adjust the settings to make it finer or make it fatter, depending on how many pixels your monitor has. The more pixels your monitor has, then the smaller a given line weight will be. So you can adjust to compensate for whether you got a old, cheap, or new, expensive monitor. The way you move stuff, everything was drawn on layer 0, the only layer that comes in a blank drawing. One way, and I'm sure there's other ways, select everything that looks like a line, either at once or in multiple steps. Then right click and pick properties. And everything that you've selected, you can change the properties of. We don't want to change the color. We want the color to remain by layer. We don't want the line type to change. We don't want the line weight to change. We want everything that possible to be controlled by layer. However, the layer that they're on, we want to change. We drew them on layer 0 last Tuesday. I'm going to move them all to the walls layer. So in the properties dialog box, drop down the layers list, select walls. Again, I'll close properties, select stuff that looks like walls, right click, pick properties, and change the layer that those objects are on to walls. For the sake of the students that are using AutoCAD, I won't show much more, but I think there's a few shortcuts. If you bring up the layer toolbar, maybe it's called properties. Yeah, properties it's called in NanoCAD. And with this toolbar up, you can select stuff and drop down the middle of the menu here a little bit quicker than using the properties. If you got the properties toolbar up, you select everything that looks like a chair. Move it to the layer you've named chairs. And it changes to the color, line type, and line weight dedicated to that layer. Select a door or two. Oops, I don't have a layer made yet for door. Okay, this is the Layer Property Manager dialog box. From it, you can make invisible layers. Like if I want to, right now the current layer is walls because it's got the green check mark. Let's set the current layer back to 0 layer. And I can freeze, make invisible everything that's on the walls layer. Go back to unfreeze, or in other words, thaw. Bring back the sun, and that'll make the walls layer visible. Or we can lock layers. Let's lock layer 0. And now I can, okay, the doors are still on layer 0. But with 0 layer locked, I can stretch. Where's my draw? Again, the toolbars keep popping off. Now I can use the stretch command we studied last Tuesday, I think. Let's see, that would be on modify. There it is. Now check it out. Because the layer 0 is locked, the stretch command will only operate on the walls. Notice I crossed a window. In the upper right of my crossing window. But that window remains right where it was because the 0 layer was locked. And I carelessly forgot, the doors and windows here were still on 0 layer. The point is you can lock a layer, like if you're running, say, the electrical stuff, you don't want to accidentally destroy the HVAC or the plumbing. So it would be wise to freeze, the plumbing and the HVAC layer as you run the wires from, outlet to outlet, switch to light and all that. You with me, Aaron?
Yes, I'm still following you.
NanoCAD doesn't quite have the shortcuts that AutoCAD has. NanoCAD is 5 or 10 years behind AutoCAD, I think, to get the free version. Anyway, your mission is to replicate and deliver me a DWG file. It's got the floor plan with the layers and everything set to the colors, line weight, as shown at the top of page 5-1. And again, I can help you over the weekend if you want. Everybody back from break? Let's move to page 5-2. All right, where is 5-2? There we go. 5-2 learns you how to create text styles and generate text. Now, text style, oh, let me go to AutoCAD. Text styles are kind of like layers in that the style governs properties of the text. The font, the bold or italics, the oblique angle, which is the clockwise lean, and a few other things. So it's wise to have all your text controlled by text styles. So if your company gets bought and the new guy says, well, I hate this ugly looking New Times Roman font, change everything to Arial. Well, if everything, you might have 3 or 4 different text styles in your drawing, just redefine the text style so that all of them use Arial font instead of New Times Roman. And it's quick, efficient, practical way to change properties by simply changing the text style, just like you change the layer for lines, arcs, and circles. In AutoCAD, the layers live on the annotation panel. I can't remember in NanoCAD, but I'll get there. It'll come back. So drop down the annotation tab. And this first icon, A with a paintbrush, is text styles. I think it's week number 8 we get into dimension styles. I rarely use multi-leader, table, or dimension styles and text styles are important. Just like AutoCAD and all the CAD systems, I shouldn't say that. AutoCAD comes with just, start from scratch drawing only has layer 0. You got to create layers for all your categories. AutoCAD comes with 1 or 2 text styles. Standard was the only one. I think there's now, whoops, Okay, I thought there was one called annotative, which is a high-tech feature that I haven't figured out if people are using yet. So it looks like only standard text style is available in AutoCAD. So to complete our exercise page 5-2, we need to create some text styles. Okay. Well, just like the layer property button is the main control board for everything to do with layers, this A with the paintbrush is the main control board for everything to do with text styles. So click on the A with the paintbrush. Up pops the text style main control. Never rename or modify never modify anything named standard. Because in time you want to learn what the standard dim style, text style, table style, you want to learn what standard means so you can use it as a baseline to develop new stuff. So never modify anything named standard. You can use the standard style as a clone though. You know, imagine we got a dozen styles here. Select standard and click new, and your new style will begin as a clone of standard. It suggests style 1. Page 5-2 says style name Dutch in the top of page 5-2.
Change it back.
Dan, got a question? So let's start creating the Dutch style, the style name Dutch. Why am I unable to select here? Funny things are happening in this PDF. We want to create a text style named Dutch using Dutch 801 RMBT font, which happens to be a true type font. And you'll find there's still some old SHP fonts, I think. They were back from the pen plotter days, before Microsoft came up with true type. We want to leave the style Roman. The height of every style should always be 0. I think I've seen few exceptions where people define a height to the style. A height should be something controlled by the object properties, not the text style properties. Width factor is how wide the characters are. Greater than 1 and they're wider than standard. Less than 1 and they're compressed. Oblique angle is how far it leans clockwise. This is one of the few exceptions that a positive angle goes clockwise. So let's rename style 1 Dutch. Click OK. We're back to our dialog box. Starting from left to right, let's go to the font drop-down list and assign, instead of the default Arial, which is not a bad font, by the way, drop down and pick Dutch 801, etc., etc. There it is. Dutch 801 RMBT. I have no idea what RMBT means. B might be for bold. No idea what 801 means. Anyway, we're going to pick Dutch 801 RMBT. We got a few different styles like italics and bold. Your contract here says leave it Roman, which is the default one. We don't want to change the height. My reason is you want the height of the dimension text to be controlled by the dimension style, not by the text style. So again, I say keep every height in the text style 0. allow the properties of the object or the settings of the dim style to control the height of text, not the, anyway. Width factor, we want it to compress a hair, type 0.9, get a little, what you see is what you get window here. Less you type, the more compact right to left the letters are. And an oblique angle of 10, which is pretty high in my opinion. See how the letters lean clockwise? So that's all there is to creating a text style. Give it a name. You know, start with a clone of standard. Did I lose anything? Damn it. Sorry. I accidentally clicked and lost everything. Okay. Width factor 0.9. Oblique angle 10. Font, style, height of 0, width factor oblique. I've never had a use for upside down and backwards. Maybe if you're making a stencil or vertical. Looks like true type fonts can't go vertical. Anyway, that's all there is to our Dutch style. Let's create another one. You want to save your changes? Yes. I'll double check. Good. Starting with standard, let's click new. Let's name architectural. Spelled right or not wrong. By the way, with the rename command, you can rename anything. I'll leave it misspelled because I'm getting tired. Sorry. Architectural, that is city blueprint. This is one of the handwritten looking fonts. Kind of like it was hand drawn. Leave it regular. Leave height 0. Width factor, leave it at 1. Oblique angle, leave it at 1. Whoop, my bad. Oblique angle change to 15. Not leave it at 0. So we assigned a font. We gave it a clockwise twist. Everything else is standard defaults. Click apply. Click close. Now which font or which text style you begin using depends on what the current text style is, just like you can create a layer and forget to set it current. So we're gonna, since we never assigned a layer current, standard is still current. So let's make some quick and dirty text. Let's go to the text. Multi-line text is by far the most popular method of making text. There's one or two others in every CAD system to my knowledge. So we'll click the big capital A that launches the multi-line text. It's almost like a mini wraparound word processor. We'll click 2 points, and we'll type, say, now is time for everyone to come to the aid, etc., etc. Click in blank space or click this close editor icon. My blank space is closer. And there we were created it microscopic because we didn't define the height when we had the chance. It does not look like that is in standard font. Maybe I did click set current when we made Dutch. Let's click on it, right click and pick properties and see what there is to learn about it. Yep, style is architectural. I guess I did click set current. The text height is 0.2 units. That's approximately what we want for the rest of the page. 0.125, 0.2, 0.16. Down here's the space factor. We didn't type enough for it to word wrap. In my opinion, there's a lot of white space between lines of text by default. And I almost always reduce the line space factor down to 0.85. Much less than that, and the hang letters tend to crash like a J or a Q, lowercase q. So I think 0.7, you'll see the hang letters crashing with the tall capital letter. Anyway, now that we got two of the three text styles made, let's exercise one. First item on your contract is place some text here with the Dutch style that's 1/8 of an inch high. By the way, there should be a layer named text. I won't hold you to that. Text or notes or anyway. The closer you model, you do your homework to my handout, even the spelling, the capitalized, the commas, the closer it is, the easier it is for me to check. I can just overlay mine on top of yours, and they should be absolutely 100% the same. But not all of us are quick typers, so I won't hold you to that. Anyway, your mission, place text here with the Dutch style that's 1/8 of an inch high. Getting back to AutoCAD, I'll hit escape, escape. We want to set the Dutch style current, so drop down our annotation window, and here's a little drop down. Much like the layers, you can set a text style current. After the fact, you can go to the properties of the text object and change it there too. Let's set Dutch current. We'll launch the multi-line text tool. We'll pick our left margin and our right margin. I'm going to make it narrower than I did up here because I want it to word wrap. In fact, I think it's safer if you make it a hair short and then stretch it wider later. I'll type place some text here with the Dutch style, comma, that's 0.125 high, period. Clicking blank space to get out of the little mini word processor. Now check it out. When you click on it, you get these grips. The square one is kind of the justification grip. Upper left is by default. And I want you to play with middle center yet tonight. Gosh, I only got 15 minutes here. However, the right word, the arrow to the right, and sometimes it's to the left, depending on justification, is stretch it out so it looks as close to the handout as possible. And playing before class, I found if you stretch it out too far, I don't know why, but it pops into 2 columns, except when I'm trying to make it pop into 2 columns. So I don't know why it's cooperating now, but it didn't an hour ago, a couple hours ago. I'll click there, and I believe I can overlay my text on top of this, and there'll be absolutely nothing peeking out from behind. We can click on it, right click, go to properties if we change our mind and want to change it from, interesting. Okay, I never set it to 1/8 of an inch. That's right, the text style has 0 text height. There is a way you can set the height before you type, but it's not much of a shortcut. I'll change the text height to 0.125, and it might make me change the margins a hair. And hit enter. Close the properties and reset the what do you call word wrapping margins. And I believe right now it is 0.125 high. Now, how do you set the height before you begin typing? You know, that's a little closer. You know, generally when you type, you like to see the, you know, plot preview. What you see is what you get. This is a little unintuitive, but check it out. Click the multi-line, specify a left corner or margin, come over, pick, before you click the right margin, right click. And there's probably a technical reason why this is so unintuitive. Something to do with the display memory or something, but right click before you specify the right margin. And you got a chance to specify the height before you type. I'll specify height. By default, it's still at 2. I'll type it, say 125. Enter. Specify the right margin. And now it'll type exactly the height I want it to finally be. Some misspellings, etc. Douche, Dutch. And if I move it, you'll see the P will perfectly cover the P I created with, you know, by changing the property to the right height. Next thing on your homework is the same, but with a different style and a different height. Next thing is the same, but with a different style and a different height. My handout says optional, but I want to do it. Down here you get into the justification. Middle center is a very popular justification. And you also get into the line spacing. I think all of them have some justification. Middle center, this one's top right. Some notes are like that. Top left is back to the default. Anyway, we don't have Swiss made, so let's skip that. We do have architectural made. So let me set current. The architectural text style. Again, you can correct it with the shift right properties. Let's see, top right justified 2 units high with a line spacing. I don't think you can right click and set all of those. Some of them, but I don't think all of them. We'll click text. What happened? Click text, multi-line that is. Left margin, right click, specify the height of 0.2. It's there already, but that's okay. While we're still in here, I can right click and pick justification. The architectural should be top right. That's the TR here. It's the TR option of on the command prompt for top right. Again, middle center is very handy for labeling rooms or land parcels. So click top right to follow the handout. I think, let's see, maybe you can do line spacing. Right click, yep, line spacing. Okay, this is slightly different than typing it into the properties. Handout says 0.9x. This way you need the x, but in properties, it assumes you want the X whether you type it or not. So whatever the default line spacing of this font is, I want to compress it so there's a little bit less white space from line to line. Again, 0.8 is about as low as you go before you get the, the hanging, like the G here hanging down. It'll crash into the capital P, and if you got a superscript like to the second power, that makes it even worse. Anyway, 0.89x. Why does it ask me again? Invalid option keyword. All right, let's type 0.9 and see what happens. Or better yet, type exactly 0.9x. That's what I'm doing wrong. We're back to specifying the right margin. I'll make it a little bit bigger, anticipating the width. But keep it a little short. Again, funny things happen. Gets into multi-column. Click, we'll type, place some multi-line text here, comma, using architectural style, still can't touch type, comma, top right justification, comma, 0.2 units high, comma, with exactly 0.9x line space factor period. Click in open space. Might have some typos, that's okay. Click on it. Notice that the width arrow is to the left now because we got it top right justified. About, let's see. Hair more. Hair more. I believe it's ready to overlay mine directly on top of this, and everything will perfectly match. While it's still selected, you can right-click, pick properties, and if you forgot to set the line space factor, just type 0.9 here. And I don't use this line space distance. I always go with line space factor. It is exactly 0.2 height, top right justification. All of this stuff you can change now if you forgot earlier. And again, it should be on a layer named text, but we didn't create one, so I won't hold you to that. Let's skip this optional thing down here. I doubt that's used with the possible exception of your company name and the title block. But with this, with this optional way, with the old-fashioned dtext command, it'll adjust the width factor to fit between 2 points that you start and stop. So instead of having a hit and miss by changing the width factor of the layer, it'll calculate the width factor for you to get the entire line given the text, given the height, and the 2 points where it starts and stops. What I do want to show you, though, is you can take advantage of the Windows clipboard. I won't hold you to this last line, but all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 7 of these paragraphs I want you to do, turn in by midnight Saturday. And don't start them until I suggest make your styles first. Always keep the height 0 in the style. Assign it to the object, the text object. Now what? I don't know why I hit escape. Say I want to place this text in on another drawing or another place in my drawing. Check it out. I can just double click on text, and whatever word processor originally created it will be used to edit it. And I think there's a way you can literally assign Word to be your text editor. Don't know if anybody does. Again, just double click on it and you can shorten or lengthen. And the justification and the height remain the same. Every time you hit an enter, it gets another line break, just like Microsoft. Anyway, we want to copy this text. Double click on it and select all the text. I go Control-C to copy it to the clipboard, or right-click and copy. Check it out. Here's a list of the current students. I'll delete them. Right-click and pick Paste, and there you can paste the text from AutoCAD into Word or Notepad or wherever. Close that without saving. Let's create a new piece of text. Annotation. All right, let's get out of my text editor. Click in blank space. Click text. I'll say I want style Dutch. Enter. Justification. I want middle center. Right click. Line spacing, let's make it really, really small, say 0.7, see what happens. Gotta click exactly. I think at least allows a little more white space if you do have a superscript, like 10 to the 5th power. I think that looks weird. Where was I? 0.7, enter. Type the X for good measure. Find the other. Did I specify the height? No. Anyway, click. Control-V or right-click and paste. And there I've taken advantage of the Windows clipboard to replicate, to take raw text from one text object to the next. Click in blank space. I don't see any hang letters, so there's nothing to crash between lines. But just to show you what's possible, go to Properties and reduce the line space factor to say 0.5, and that'll force you get the text crashing into each other here. All right, it's after 5:15. Everybody's still on board? I've lost track of students. Okay, looks like we got
You
Alex.
said the homework is just writing those or typing these paragraphs that's on this lesson 5.
Say that again, Aaron.
You said the homework that's due Saturday is just typing these paragraphs that's on lesson 5.
In addition to the page 5-1 with layers, yes.
Okay.
And I understand not all of you have the, here's my photo icon. I understand not everybody's got the starter file. I'll email, send me to be on the safe side, send me an email saying, hey, Paul, can you send me the starter file?
Okay, I'll do that.
Before I forget, let me take a pic of the attendance. I don't think anybody stepped out. Oh, Aaron, if you can hang with me a little while, I'll try to show you the equivalent in NanoCAD.
Okay.
Let's start a new drawing. Now everything is huge here, so we'd have to zoom in and, what the heck, let's zoom in. You know, it's as if our 8.5 by 11 sheet is on this end table. I believe there's a text toolbar. Let's open up styles. I think that's all. Click close. We're not doing anything with properties. We're on whatever property we're on, probably 0. So let's close layers. This is the styles. Nope. This is the styles icon in NanoCAD. NanoCAD's a little bit different from AutoCAD to keep it legal. So let's click on Text Style Manager. Standard, again, never change anything named standard. We'll click Add New Style here, this kind of starburst looking icon. Kind of like creating a new layer. At this point, our style 1 is identical to standard. Let's click on it to rename it, say Dutch. A little different interface than AutoCAD. There's the font. Change it from Arial, that's the standard font, to Dutch 801 whatever. Following the table on page 5-2, we'll leave it Roman, always leave the height 0, width factor is, we want it 0.9. You don't need to type the X here. In the oblique angle, we want a slight 10-degree clockwise. While we're here, let's select standard, create architectural. Oops, forgot to rename. Change the font to, what was that, City Blueprint. Oh, come on. One is, I'm surprised I didn't notice city blueprint ain't on here. I thought it would be the exact same font file, you know, the same menu for any CAD system and any word processor. I'm not sure if I can copy paste a piece of text and have the city blueprint font ride in with the copy pasted piece of text. So remind me of this, Aaron, and I'll cut you some slack or rig the starter file for you. Let's
Okay.
just assign, say, Arial narrow. Click close. I believe the green check determines which is current, much like a current layer. Click close, click multi-line text. There's also the single line for doing that funky stuff on the bottom of page 5.2 that I won't ask you to do. Where was I? Let's go to multi-line, big capital T instead of a big capital A. Left. I don't think the right click is in NanoCAD. Let's see. I think you just get enter and cancel. Yep. So break my heart. Let's type it and then we'll change the properties later. Place some text here with the Dutch, and I realize I'm misspelling. That's 0.125 high, period. All right, now where's the grips that I can change the word spacing? Select it, right click. Oh, properties is already up. NanoCAD calls it inspector instead of properties. Right there is text height. Already got the Dutch set. Nope, there's no requirement for line spacing, so let's leave it as it is. Click enter. And how do we get the word wrapping? Let's see if the stretch command will do it. I'm looking for like a margin spacing or something I can change here. Well, let me try it again. Lost my freaking toolbars again. Do you have this problem, Aaron, in your NanoCAD? The toolbars disappearing? Or is it just me? Where's the text? All right, I'm going to make the margins extremely narrow now. Now is the time for everyone to come to the aid of their country, period. Well, that's interesting. I'm still at a loss on how you grip edit. Right back where we were. You know, I hate to tell you this. It's my Lenovo computer kicking in from maintenance. I hate to tell you this, but there may not be a way to grip edit multi-line text. You know, remind me, I'll see if I can find a YouTube or go to the help screen and get that answered, Aaron.
Okay. I'll also play around with it myself and see if I can try to figure it out.
Yeah, I can't remember how much. Let's hit F1. NanoCAD's got standard, you know, help, search, text. I'm taking up a lot of time here. Grip editing, multi-line text. Well, let me call it quits. I don't know how many gigabytes the recording's getting to, but you know, I understand you're kind of handicapped with this freebie AutoCAD work-alike.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's got the justifications much like Word does here. Didn't notice that. And that looks like the lean factor or oblique angle, and that's the width factor. Still don't have a way to adjust the margins for the word wrapping. All right, I see most folks have hung on. A few have stepped out. Anybody got any question before we call it a class?
Just want to verify. So the homework is writing those paragraphs and also doing the layers in 5-1 and 2.
Correct.
Okay.
Time permitting, I can generate it exactly as I want it. Let me open up my week 5. Okay, I better punt. It'll take me a while. I was going to open up the AutoCAD file that I generated the handout and erase the garbage, just leaving the stuff. But in general, I want your floor plan with all the furniture, with layers created and everything on the respective layer, with the layers given the correct properties, color, line weight. I guess that's all the properties we covered today. Again, email me if you can't find a starter file with the floor plan already finished. On page 5-2, I want you to develop those styles, and I want you to develop the 6 or 8 paragraphs using the styles and assigning the height, the justification, the line spacing. Any other questions? Elizabeth, I didn't notice you were with us. All right, class. I found out for several weeks the recordings were not accessible. One student let me know that, appreciate, and I've changed the sharing so that all of your NNPS email addresses are listed under sharing. So I think you might have to select your NNPS email ID sooner or later in the Google Classroom to get to the, what's it called, drive something, meeting drive files, I forget. I got a screen capture process, asked me to email you that if you didn't get it in the mass mailing. Okay, folks, email me or give me a call if you need help before Tuesday. See you then, folks.
I see you then.
Shutting down. We gone. Bye-bye.